Welcome to the second episode of Talking Around the Fire with Brother Giot's men who were out camping for several days. I hope you enjoy the second segment. And his family was going with him, and they needed somebody to keep their cat. So the neighbor said, well, I'll keep it. So, okay, so they was gone for 2 or 3 weeks. Then they got a call from the neighbor. The neighbor said, your cat's dead. He said, well, wait a minute. He said, you didn't have to just lay it on me like that. Well, he said, what could I done? He said, well, the first day you could have called and said, the cat's on the roof and we can't get her down. And said the second day you could have called and said, we got the cat down, but the cat is very ill. And said the third day you could have called and said, the cat has expired. He said, okay, sorry. 2 weeks later, they got another call. And the man said, your mama's on the roof. back in now this part of this is true, the first part. And when it gets a little thin, I'll do this. In other words, my aunt, Mama's sister, Aunt Joe, she had a car it was back in the Depression times, and she was the only lady that had a car in the community, and there was the only lady that could drive a car. And so she was real good about carrying people to here and there, you know. Joe, would you take me to such? Yeah, I'll take you. Joe, would you take me to the store? Yeah, I'll take you. Finally, Sister Maud. Sister Maud said, Joe, could you take me to Alexander to the train station? I've got to go to Arkansas. She said, yeah, I'll take you. Well, they got there, and that was the days that you could go right to the train steps. And so they got out, and Aunt Joe went with Sister Maud to the train steps and helped her with her luggage. And she said, now, Joe, I'm coming back in 3 months to the day, and said, I want you to, could you meet me and take me home? And she said, yeah, I'll be here. Don't worry about it. I'll be here. Well, 3 months to the day, Aunt Joe went up to the train depot, and Sister Maud got off of the train, and they was walking towards her car, and she said, Joe, what's the news since I've been gone? Well, she said, I don't believe there is any news. Well, Joe, there's got to be some news. I've been gone 3 months. Surely there's some news. Well, Aunt Joe said, maybe there is a little dab of news. Said, what is it? She said, well, your dog died. She said, my dog died? What happened? Said, well, they think it's some of that old burned horse meat that was on the ground. Why? Why is the horse meat on the ground? Said, well, your barn caught on fire and burned up all the horses, animals. And said, well, how did that happen? What caused it? I said, well, they think it's a spark from the house. What happened to my house? I said, why? It burned up. She said, well, why did it burn up? I said, well, they think it's a candle in the house. She said, no, I don't have any candles in my house. She said, well, no. She said, it's the casket. This was a candle that they had on the casket. So, well, who died? Oh, said, you don't have to worry. It was your mother-in-law. Said, well, what happened to her? Said, well, they think that she never did get over your husband running off with a choir director. But now, other than that, I don't believe there is any news. So,